When the pandemic began, this pandemic raises fundamental doubt about the direction we are heading.
Restrictions are now easing, but I fear that more people will die and unemployment will continue to rise. While the virus remains a threat, we have an opportunity to define a new normal. We can learn from the wisdom of First Nations people across the Asia-Pacific region to move away from human-centric approaches towards universe-referent ways of being.
During pandemic, many people still focus on solving issues within the big city only. Let's consider how we can restructure our country.
Now is the time to think and act on the future of our cities and the next generation. Open spaces play a major role in providing a healthy environment.
We're still optimistic that we can overcome the situation. We believe that we shall recover, we shall overcome, we shall survive.
Landscape architects are very much relevant as we adapt to the challenges brought about by the pandemic.
As a landscape architect post-COVID-19, I believe we can still plan and design these spaces, taking into consideration of how to make these spaces sustainable in the long run in terms of space flexibility and maintenance.
I have adopted the social distancing idea and start working from home. Similar to the idea of working from home, if we can bring landscape architecture closer to home by allowing people to have better access to nature, it helps reducing a lot of stress physically and mentally.
So the major challenge we have now is how to maintain people's well-being while keeping them under reasonable risk.
Post-COVID-19 is actually not a limitation. It is an opportunity to be more with nature, to enjoy more nature and to enjoy our recreational time in outdoor environment.
I think there's really strong parallels in terms of the issues and opportunities in terms of a response to COVID-19 with the issues around climate change. And I think perhaps there's a risk that at the moment that you get the social and economic recovery from the pandemic.
It is important for us to reach out to the most vulnerable sector, recognize them, capacitate them, work with them, and make them realize that they are important members of our society.
We don't forget about the issues we've got around the environment and the agenda to be more resilient and sustainable in the way that we live.
The pandemic has brought the concepts of green resilience and health to a new level. We need to continue to promote the practice of green infrastructure in our urban area.
Bringing more flowers, textures, variety in native plant species, which will bring in better ecological balance and improve biodiversity.
Bring back all the wildlife, rewilding our city center, and let's bring more people to nature.
Nothing will be changed, but we should be different. It is our landscape architect's task how we can achieve that difference and how we can direct a different way of thinking.
Once the pandemic is over, it's going to be economy versus environment once again. So let's all work together without borders to see that the green prevails over greed.
The last thing is more about balance between human being and nature. It's more about how people can live in nature. So if we can manage to keep that new balance better, I think we will survive this crisis.
This is the most crucial time for us landscape architects to really find and define our direction of how the landscape architecture can contribute to the world after COVID. Please join me to reimagine the world with 40 landscape architects across Asian Pacific region to build as a collective direction for our profession. Join me, the Landscape Without Border.